Eduardo, who is a theist from Brazil. So let's talk to Eduardo. How are you, sir? Eduardo. Hello.
By the way, I think. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I was going to sing then. I'm not allowed to do that. Go on, carry on. What would you like to talk about?
Maybe, but just first, let me say, maybe an angel, biblical angel, sound like you singing, but who knows?
What is it you'd like to talk about today, Eduardo?
Anyway, no, I actually, you invited me to call because of a comment you made. And,
okay, what was that comment that you made? Just remind everyone at home.
So I made a call there, and it was a call about how theists and atheists are as close to the truth as each other. And then somebody answered me. I don't remember if he answered, but I actually wrote something like, well, that science is still pretty incomplete, and it is its feature and its bug. Religion gives some stability to knowledge, but it's dogmatic, and that I actually think that it actually had a third way that I found, which was Spiritism, which is the philosophy by Allan Kardec, which is basically, it's hard to say if it's a philosophy, a religion, because it's a religion, but at the same time, there are no dogmas. There are some paradigms, but they can shift according to science.
Could I ask a quick question here?
I think we all have some questions here. Yeah.
I just want to clarify something with you, Eduardo. Did you say religion gives us stability? Is that did I hear you say that correctly? Religion gives us stability?
Well, right.
You did say that?
Stability, but the
have you seen the world lately?
The price we pay is something.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. All right.
Eduardo, my question for you. So it sounds like your argument, and correct me if I'm mistaken here, it sounds like your argument is that science is incomplete. And you said those words specifically, science is incomplete. What do you mean by that?
Which is good and bad, actually.
No, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? Oh, I mean that, well, we know the facts that, we science study the word, but there are...
Eduardo, define science for me. What is science?
And I mean science mostly in the colloquial sense that, would be the search.
Sounds like you don't really know what science is.
And I do know, but that's the thing. It's mostly what I meant, but what I meant was actually the experiment, scientific method, and things like that.
Is the scientific method, you just mentioned the scientific method, is the scientific method a belief system, or is it a set of beliefs? Is that what you're saying?
No.
So if it's not a set of beliefs, then how does completeness matter? Like, how is completeness important? Like, if I took any other field, let's say carpentry, writing, is carpentry complete? Like, does that even make sense? I would say like that doesn't make sense, because carpentry as a tool to build something or as a tool to create something is not in itself a product. It's not, there's not even one specific way to do carpentry. It is a method that you use to turn typically wood products into something else. But you can't say that like there's ever a completeness to the practice of carpentry, because new methods come about, like new techniques come about, and they're all still carpentry, right? That's the same thing like with science. Science is a method. It's a tool. And you even mentioned the scientific method. It's a tool that you use in order to take information or any other type of data, and then you make predictions about the world based on that data and patterns that you see within that data. So science is never going to be complete in the same way that carpentry will never be complete. There's no way for it to be complete. There's no goal like to end science. Like, we're not trying to complete science. We're going to continually use it as a tool in order to make predictions about the world. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, you arrived exactly where I wanted to, because exactly. But when I say the colloquialist, it's been sold. It's been sold as a belief.
Well, but that's not science's fault. That's people misunderstanding science, right? Like that's and something too I want you to be aware of is that the way we teach science to children is not entirely accurate. We teach it in a way that's simple so that they understand and they learn, but you add more depth as you go. And the problem is a lot of people stop after high school science. They stop after a certain point, and then they assume that what they learned early on is what is like true about advanced science, and that's not the case. So it's not science's fault that people are misusing it or misinterpreting it. So I don't think that gap is but the problem is, Eduardo, you're using that gap, you're taking that gap and suggesting that we need something supernatural to fill that in because people misunderstood science. That's not a good argument at all.
No. I don't think we did anything supernatural, and that's.
And what do you mean? Then why does Spiritism need to be in there? Why do you need this other thing?
Well, Spiritism is not actually. We don't believe in the supernatural, but we believe that most things related to Jesus happen, but they happen through natural laws that we don't know about yet.
So that just sounds like inconsequential. It sounds like we shouldn't care. Like, if Jesus was alive, and we don't, like, I would concede the point that if he was alive, we probably don't know a lot of things about him. But also, I don't see why we need to care if that's the case. And I've talked a little bit. I'll let you respond, and then I'll let Richard and Scott jump in too.
There are actually two reasons to care. One, because whether you want it or not, most people around you will care about that. So it's kind of like even to like criticize, you need to care. Secondly, we need to care because of the opposite that you said, because we need to find out, because our purpose in the world is to evolve intellectually and morally. So because we believe in reincarnation, every incarnation we get better, so we need to search for it. It's the exactly opposite. We can't be lazy.
Eduardo, you've gone from saying that you don't believe in the supernatural to you believe in reincarnation. Now, forgive me for jumping in here, but I know a little bit about some religions that believe in reincarnation. And reincarnation in none of them is a natural thing. It is supernatural in every single one of those. So are you using reincarnation as a byword for something natural that we know about? Or do you literally mean a reincarnation in the supernatural sense?
No, neither. It's natural in a way that we don't know how yet. We try to find out because.
So if we don't know about it, how can you say it's natural?
Right.
How can you say it exists, and how can you say it's natural if we don't know about it yet? That is quite literally the god of the reincarnation argument. It's a reincarnation of the gaps argument. We don't know about it, but we're just going to plug it in here. I think that something very important about Eduardo, I think something very important that I don't think we've quite touched on is, you called in and you said religion and science both have their problems. Spiritism is a third option. What is it that Spiritism offers? What utility does Spiritism have regarding the truth that neither science nor religion have?
Well, okay, so the thing is, most people who were drawn to Spiritism in the 19th century, which is when it began, are exactly people who were were questioning the religious dogmas. But again, popularly, science ended up being told as a belief, it's people's fault. But in fact, it happens.
That doesn't particularly answer the question I asked you, though, Eduardo. The question I asked you, well, what does Spiritism?
I'm there.
Okay. Go on, continue, please.
And it needed to. So the thing is, most people that question that, but that felt that there was still an intelligence behind the universe and all that. And one person in particular, which is Scott Dickie, his original name, I don't remember his full name. I actually memorized to call say, it's a foreign French name, but he was a linguist and religious student, but not a student of religion, not a religious student. And
Eduardo, forgive me, I'm going to jump in again. I'm quite happy for you to get where you're going, but we don't need someone's biography to answer this question. We don't need to hear the history of Spiritism, or all we need to know is what Spiritism offers that neither religion nor science offer in relation to reality. That's it. We don't need a biography. It's not the biography channel. We don't need to listen to somebody's life story in order to get to the answer to this question. If you could just briefly tell us, give us a synopsis of what Spiritism offers that neither science nor religion can offer in relation to reality.
I'm not the best person to tell it anyway, but it's part of the point. But I'm gonna see if I can skip that. What it offers is this: there are a bunch of there are a collection of books that explain about the religious beliefs and how it compares to the science at the time and after the time. But if you want to understand it, it gets a little more complicated because in the same time of the Enlightenment, which is more or less when it
Eduardo, this is the third time I've interrupted you. Forgive me for interrupting, but it's the third time I've done it. And each time I've done it, you've just returned to telling us about the past of Spiritism. I'm not interested in the Spiritism's past. I'm not interested in anybody to do with the Spiritism movement. I want to address directly the question that you called up with. And that was that Spiritism offers something that neither science nor religion offer. And all I want to know is what that thing is. You called up with this claim. You know, I invited you to call based on something you said previously, which was this claim that it offers something that neither science nor religion offer. I still don't know what that thing is. And we've been on this call now for 13 minutes, and I'm still no closer to knowing what this thing is that Spiritism offers. If we can just kind of nail down briefly, if you can just tell us in 1 or 2 sentences what Spiritism offers that neither science nor religion offer, without going to a history lesson, without having someone's biography, just give us a short synopsis.
It offers the stability of religion and the openness of science.
That doesn't mean anything.
I still fail to see how the openness of science is a problem. Like as we already mentioned, I fail to see.
It offers both. That's the thing. It's a problem, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for people if you understand.
What is the problem, though? You have not adequately communicated that there is a problem with it. You just keep saying that there is one.
Well, the problem is, like I said, it's been sold as a belief, and then when it's sold as a belief.
Again, the fact that it's being sold as something does not mean that science itself is the problem. So stop using that argument because we've already debunked it. So what other argument do you have in favor of your position? Because that one's out.
Oh, can you tell me how you debunked that again?
Yeah, we debunked it because you said that the way that science is being sold as a belief is a problem because you agreed that science as a process isn't the problem. So if that's the case, then you're not debunking, you're not saying that science is a problem. You're saying that the people who misrepresent science are the problem.
Actually, well, that's the thing. Science is not the problem, but science is.
Okay, so science is not the problem.
And no, never was.
Okay, so you can't say that problems with science lead Spiritism to be a better option. You can't use that as a reason. That's what I mean when I say we've debunked it.
Yeah,
what else do you got?
That's the thing. That's it put if you. That was why I was going to the history, but it puts it explains how it's a tool, and it doesn't, and it explains our beliefs and how why they were necessary and why some of them are still necessary, but but also it explains that it can change at any moment with science, but we have to be very careful. So
that's misuse of science, right? So the answer to misuse of science is better study of science and better application of science, right? The answer is not, let's just throw away science and go to Spiritism, right? That's because now what you have to do is you not only, if you're still going to go back to that argument now, like you not only have to find reasons why science is not adequate, but you also have to demonstrate why Spiritism is. So saying that science is a problem, saying that religion is a problem isn't enough. No, it isn't enough to like build up your position, right? You still have to do the work to build up your argument for why Spiritism is a good option, right? Like if I said that Richard is a bad person, if I made the claim that Richard is a bad person and I gave all this evidence of bad things that Richard has done, that doesn't mean that I've proven that I'm a good person, right? I've said nothing about me. I've only said things about him. I still have to do the work to demonstrate that I'm a good person and he isn't. But that argument doesn't exist just because I said negative things about him. So the same way, even if you say negative things about science, even if those were valid reasons, you still haven't demonstrated why Spiritism is a good option.
Silent science. I'm sorry if I miscommunicated. I mean, I'm sorry if maybe that's because English is my second language. I don't know.
No, it's not the language. It's not the language barrier. Like, it's the fact that we've been asking you to give us reasons why Spiritism is a better option, and you just go back to a rant about the history and all the stuff that isn't relevant to the point. What that communicates to us, like when people go and don't answer the question and just go back to explaining the history of something, it kind of communicates to us that you don't have an argument.
How do you learn about something without context?
No, so tell us, so answer the questions then. Tell us, if we ask you, what does Spiritism offer as a good option? You have to just answer the question. Just tell us, what is a good option about it?
Well, it offers explanations about what we follow and why. Well, for example, about the old.
Okay, what are those explanations?
Other myths of creations, or no, and it's and it's that's a whole. There are 5 books explaining that, and it offers also the idea that we must evolve intellectually and morally, and that.
Okay. So we can kind of go somewhere now a little bit. So you said that there are 5 books, and they explain your beliefs. So now here comes the question: why should I trust those books?
Well, I'm kind of different than other Christians. I've never told you just to trust it. You read it.
But you said that the books
You don't trust
were reasons why we should look to Spiritism instead of science or religion, which you need to demonstrate now, like why that's a good reason for picking Spiritism. So why should I trust these books?
Sorry to interrupt, because that's why I think might be the language barrier, because I didn't mean to say instead, in the sense that it excluded. It actually includes both. It's not
okay, but either way, you're looking to a book to justify your belief. So why should I believe your book? What if I wanted to believe in Lord of the Rings, and if I said Lord of the Rings is like real life, I would have to demonstrate that, right? I'd have to demonstrate why I'm basing my life on that book.
Not in Spiritism, but no. Listen, that's the thing. I'll never tell you that you should base, because that there is that part of the Spiritism, part of the difference is that.
No, but what convinced you? What convinced you to believe this?
Well, what convinced me was some personal experiences, which I'm not going into because I know that they are not, some reason. And also,
hold on. You said that that's what convinced you, but it's not a good reason to. If it's not a good reason to believe something, then why do you present that as your number one reason that you believe this? Dr. Ben asked you, why do you believe these beliefs? And the first thing you said, you immediately drew back saying that it wasn't a good reason to believe something.
No, I mean I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that's hard to explain with personal experience, because I could tell you, for example, about the things that, because we have mediums that received that the things that they said about me without knowing me ever before. I could go on and on about that, but I doubt that you would believe that. I know that you must be the judge of that, but
Do you think that we should believe that? Do you think that if you present that, do you think that it should be compelling?
Well, if we have some more time for me to explain how they couldn't know that before, it would be. But
Eduardo, we've been on this call 21 minutes. You've had more than enough time to kind of at least give a brief overview of why we should be convinced. I think what we're going to do is go away. You're a really nice guy. I love having you call the show. But I don't mean that came across a little aggressive. I don't mean go away like that. We love having you call on the show. But it seems to me, I've listened to several of your calls, Eduardo, on different shows. And it seems to me that whenever we get down to pressing you for... Whenever we get down to pressing you for the kind of reasoning behind your beliefs, you kind of start to crumble pretty quick. I would suggest going away and actually having a think about how you can formulate the reasons that you believe what you believe, the reasons that you think would convince other people to believe what you believe. And then give us a call back. We've got the Christmas break coming up. Give us a call next year. And, really sit down and formulate what you want to say. Because I don't want to be in this position where we're having this lovely conversation. You're a really nice guy to talk to. But it kind of feels like every time you get pressed on anything, you're just kind of, and it really kind of stops the conversation dead. And yeah, I know you can do better than that. So I'm going to let you go, Eduardo. Thank you for calling the show.